All right, friends and fam, thank you guys so much for joining Every Day's a Saturday with your host, me, myself, and I, Brian Roof. Hey guys, we got another great show, great interview today. But before I get into my guest and the introduction, I want to give you guys a little bit of some updates and what's going on with the show and stuff like that. Where you can find the show, you can watch it on YouTube, or you could get pretty much on all the different platforms that stream podcast. And then just as a recent, we got added onto the Gun Room Radio, which is a station that provides content by veterans. The podcasters on this station are all veterans and talk about things they have experienced with an organization that offer help. There's also a free app that is available through Apple or Google. So go check it out. Again, that's Gun Room Radio. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into our guest. My next guest isn't a veteran, but he is a big supporter for veterans and first responders. He has been struggling with health issues for the past couple of years and decided to start walking to lose weight back in May of 14th, 2019. Well, it went from walking to lose weight to walking to honor fallen heroes. He's lost over 60 pounds on this journey and has got to learn a lot and share stories of people who lost their life doing something amazing. Let's welcome Tim French. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And you?
I can't complain. If I did, no one would really care. But anyways, hey, Tim, I thank you so much for taking the time to come on. We would love to get to learn a little bit about you, kind of let us know who's Tim, what got you going on this journey and, and some of the things you've experienced while on your journey.
Sure. Well, to start out with, I am a Navy veteran.
Oh, sorry,
Um,
I did not know that. My
that's
bad.
all right. I served from 1980 to 1986. I have a lot of family members that served. My dad was a World War II Army veteran. And I got out of the service and went to work in a factory for 10 years and uh, just doing my thing. And I ended up finding out that I had a brain tumor. So I ended up having to quit work and I retired and moved to Tennessee and just got fat and sassy up here in the mountains. And one thing led to another. I decided I need to start walking to lose some weight. And one of my daughters asked, well, when you walk, why don't you just carry the flag with you? And I thought, well, maybe I'd do one better because I used to honor the fallen soldiers years ago in different ways. And so I started carrying the flag with me and started honoring our fallen heroes. Um, I carry their picture with me, just a little picture. I can show you one here.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
let's do that.
it's I laminate it. I laminate them, and that way they're weatherproof. Because sometimes I get caught out in the rain, and so I carry that with me, and the flag. And after our walk, I tell their stories on my website. It's important that we tell their stories, and like I say, I've been doing it since May the 14th of 2019. I've honored almost 800 fallen heroes so far.
Wow.
It doesn't matter how they died, whether they died in war, whether they died of old age. Um, it doesn't matter. I honor them and I honor their service. It's important that we keep them, we say their names and tell their stories. It's just that very important to me. And I'm sure it's very important to the families um, that their loved ones are remembered.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing that you do that. I mean, there's only a couple other things out there, like there's walls, with names and stuff like that, but this is way more personal and and it you learn. I'm sure you've learned a lot about other people, about their families.
Oh yes,
Uh,
I've
you,
met with some of them, and also something else that I do is I make a dog tag. As you can see up behind me, I've got a dog tag for each one of them that I've walked for, um,
yeah.
and hopefully one of these days it will be on display someplace. I'm currently checking out a few places, and hopefully we can get that on display.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I could see them all there. That is wow. So, I mean, what do you just plan on keep on going? I mean, what's your plan with this whole thing? I mean,
Yeah, well, I hope to be able to do this for years to come. Um, One day I would like to travel and walk across America, and honoring different veterans still. Um, it's just something I can't leave the house now, but due to family. But eventually, I hope to be out there walking across the United States, one way or another, some in some fashion. Um, I got to keep moving,
I hear you.
and but I try and get out there as much as I can. I walk anywhere from 3 to 4 days a week now, and I've been blessed to be able to do that. Uh, I'd walk more if I was if they'd let me, but they keep me busy here, so um, family comes first.
I hear you.
But
How far do you usually walk when you set out to do these walks?
um, I try to walk at least 5 miles, but I'll walk anywhere between 5 and 30 miles. I've done one 30-mile walk. I've done a 25-mile walk um, in one day. Um, Several 22-mile walks. But the average is somewhere between 5 and 10 is the most, and occasionally it'll be different.
Now, are you usually set out for like you're like, all right, today I'm doing five, or does it sometimes turn into that Forrest Gump kind of feeling where you just start walking and feels good and you just want to keep on going, or
Yeah,
is it?
it's I kind of let them lead me. Occasionally, I'll like if it's a special walk um, where I know I'm going to be doing a 22-mile walk um, for that type of thing, and um, but most of the time I just take out the door and wherever they lead me, the distance, that's what we'll do.
Now, what state are you doing this out of?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, so now are you dealing now? Like you did say today, you weren't able to walk because the weather. Now, how
Hmm.
often do you have to deal with the weather, or do you pretty much when it's raining, you're that's a no go that day?
Um, I've walked in the rain a few times. I try and avoid it. Um, if it just so happens that I'm out there and it starts raining, I'll seek cover. Um, I try not to schedule a walk. If I know it's going to rain, I won't schedule a walk usually. But the winter doesn't stop me. The summer doesn't stop me. I've walked in 18-degree weather, um, up to 90-degree weather. So um, the weather usually doesn't bother me too much. I just try to avoid the rain, um, because you get your feet wet and you get blisters so much easier. So I just try to avoid the rain. I've got caught out in the rain a bunch of times, and you just go with it. Um, but but yeah, I try to avoid the rain, and sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, what is? Oh, so let's talk a little bit about your Navy career. I'm sorry, I totally missed that you were in the Navy. Now, what was your job in the Navy?
I was aviation ordnanceman. Um, I to start out with, I loaded bombs and missiles and on aircraft, and later on, about halfway through, um, I went to eye level maintenance, so I got to work on the bombs and the missiles and the launchers and stuff, and do the maintenance on them. So a little bit different.
And what years did you serve?
From 1980 to 1986.
6 years. Okay, all on a ship, pretty much.
No, no, I was stationed at NAS Cecil Field there in Florida. I did go on a first world cruise of the USS Carl Vinson, the aircraft carrier. Its very first cruise was world cruise was in 1983, and we did a 10 month. We were gone 10 months.
Okay, yeah. I didn't like being on a ship very much. I got a little seasick every time we
Mm.
went out there, man. I was living on those Dramamine pills. I
Uh,
didn't have
the
very good sea legs.
the big ship, we didn't even notice we were even on the water hardly.
Yeah, yeah. Those things, man. That some of them are huge. I went
Yeah,
to visit Coronado Bay and went on to go like do a tour of some of the ships. My gosh, you can get lost on them.
yeah, yeah. It took probably a month or two um, before I figured out where everything was, and I didn't get lost. So it's like a big city. It's just
Oh yeah.
huge.
Now, once you got out, what did you end up doing with yourself?
Um, I worked in a factory for 10 years until until they found my brain tumor in 1994, and they found a brain aneurysm. So they operated on the aneurysm, and I had to learn to walk again. And but I was back to work in like 6 months, and uh, I lasted for another 6 months before my they figured out my eyes were just too bad that they didn't want to take a chance of me hurting somebody or getting hurt myself. So I just had to go ahead and retire. And I used to come down here on vacation. I'm originally from Indiana,
Okay.
and I used to come down here on vacation here in Crossville, Tennessee, and to see my dad. And um, so I sold out and decided to move here. And so I've been here um, 20 some odd years, and I love it here. It's
Yeah,
great
I have
place to
a
walk.
yeah, Jason. You got to meet Jason Rhodes, who was
Hmm.
walking as well. I guess he came through and he got you guys got to sit down and talk a little bit, huh?
Yeah, we got to talk for a little over an hour. It was great to talk to someone else who likes to walk, and
Another
I
Navy veteran getting to meet another Navy veteran walking. That's crazy.
yes, and it's funny. I got to meet another guy just a couple of days ago who's walking across the United States, and he was an Army veteran, and so it's really great to get to meet these guys that are actually walking out there walking across the United States.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy that you guys just, I mean, I can't imagine it. There's just so many things that in life that I would think people could make excuses why not to do it. You know what I mean? Because I
Hmm.
can think of some myself, but for you guys to get out there and do it, it's that's quite the commitment and dedication. Especially, I mean, you got to do a little bit of research too. I imagine once you're doing this because you're doing
Hmm.
stories on all these guys and
Oh
and
yeah,
girls and ladies.
you get to know them. I do a lot of research. I'm on the computer um, hours and hours during the week, getting all the information, and um, it was interesting talking to Jake, the Army veteran who's walking across the United States, and he's got 10,000 over 10,000 miles, and I just thought that was amazing. Um, I've got a little over 6,000 miles since May 14th, 2019,
Wow.
and I never dreamed that I would ever walk 6,000 miles, but you don't think about that when you're walking, every day almost. The miles just add up, and so do the fallen heroes. It's never ending. There's so many, um, just thousands and thousands of them, and we need to say their names and
Yeah,
keep getting their stories out there.
absolutely. And we got Memorial Day coming up, so that's a big one to keep, the names kept,
Hmm.
keep them going, keep them flowing. Not just those, during one day, but keep them going throughout the year. And that's what Tim's doing. I love it, and I appreciate what you're doing, Tim. Too, man. I mean, that's a great thing to do.
I'm honored to be able to do what I do. I've definitely been blessed. I'm in better physical condition now than I ever been my whole life.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of that, how is your health today? I mean, and the brain tumor is, how's everything going?
well, they keep an eye on the tumor. It's not done anything for years. It's just sitting there. The side effects from the tumor. Um, I was getting 3 to 5 headaches a week, disabling headaches.
Mm,
Um, it was for many years. Um, I just you, you live with it, it just and when I started walking, about 6 months after I started walking, my headache started to diminish. And today I have maybe one headache, maybe in a month or two,
wow,
compared to what I was getting. So right there, just that alone has changed my life.
that's great. So you
It's
just it's part of your medicine, no, don't like, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's really changed my life. Um, I will never stop walking.
that's good.
I'll walk till the day I die.
They say
And
you
I
keep on moving, and then once you stop moving, and that's usually when things don't go very well. So,
Yeah,
and you're living proof of that.
yeah. And I'll keep honoring these heroes for as long as I can. Um,
Absolutely. And
and
hopefully we can help you get your word out there as well. You know, um, share your website, share your different platforms, all the different platforms that people can find you, so that way, uh, you know, other people can see what you're doing as well, and get
and
to know these people as well.
and we love to get requests, walk requests from family members. Just you know. Send me their picture and their information. Send it by email or the website. It'll all be on there. We would love to honor your fallen heroes. So send them right away, and we'll keep sending them, and we'll keep walking for them.
Absolutely. Now, where do you usually get your list from, or how do you go about doing that?
Well, like I say, a lot. We get a lot of requests. We get several requests during the week, but um, the ones um, I do a search on on the internet. I do look at special websites like that have the Vietnam, for instance, the Vietnam website that has all the Vietnam fallen heroes, and there's also one for Afghanistan and Iraq, uh, and there's a few sites for World War II
Oh
fallen
wow,
heroes. I think there's where people can post about their fallen hero, and so I've had a few people send me some information from there. So um, uh, so I do a lot of research on the internet to try and get all the information and find a grave website, for instance. They provide a lot of detailed information, and but I always try and contact the family members to let them know that I'm walking with their loved ones.
that's great. So, what exactly do you usually share from each, story? Is there specific things that you share, or do you kind of does it case by case?
Well, it depends on how much information I can get, about that hero. But I always try and um, get where they're from, um, how old they were, and and of course the date that they died, and um, if kind of history, their story. If they were in war, if they weren't in war, um, what did they do after they got out of war? Maybe they didn't go to war. You know, um, Maybe they were like me and served in non-war time and got out and lived long lives. Of course, we have some that got out and couldn't cope, and I also walk for the veterans who've commit suicide and to honor their service. Um, and it's important that their families know that that their sacrifices aren't forgotten, and so I walk for them all, and I do, like I say, I do a lot of research. It's important that I just try and tell their stories, basically, just tell their stories, and family members can tell me what they want, put in their story, uh, however they want it. That's what we'll do.
That's great. That's great. Now, do you do like one, during one walk, or you kind of, or do you have you done more than one during a walk?
I have walked, especially when I first started. I walked for several at one walk, but now I try and do just one walk for one fallen hero. Occasionally, uh, here a while back, there was on special occasions I'll walk for more than one. If it has something to do with it, maybe they both were killed at the same time, or if they were brothers, or if on request, I'll do more than one walk. I'll honor more than one hero.
Now, let me ask you: is there any one particular story that really touched you, or kind of hit you, differently, that really stands out to you from the 800 you've done, or are they all pretty unique, or is there's
Well,
one in particular?
there's been several that have touched me, and of course, I have walked for three of my own family members, and
Okay.
also I have walked for three of my friends,
Oh,
and so those, of course, are touching and more important to me. To me, kind of.
right.
But I have one. that anymore I try not to read their stories in too much detail while I'm getting their information. Um, a lot of times I'll read their stories in more detail after the walk. That way I can see if they have led me something in particular to do with their story. And I've got one, for instance. Um, it was it was a Vietnam. He was in Vietnam, and he was an army soldier. They were. It was a big monsoon that come up, and they had to cross a river, and he got swept away in the river. Um, I didn't know that, and that day I had a feeling it was going to rain. The forecast said there was a chance of rain. So I took off that morning. I I didn't take my rain gear. I just thought, well, I'll just hop into a store or something. If it starts raining, I'll just step in and stay dry. And I got about halfway through the walk, and it started pouring down raining. Um, this wasn't a regular rain either. It was raining so hard, um, couldn't even see hardly.
Kind of like a
Um,
monsoon,
yeah, to me it was.
huh? Right.
The water was up on the sidewalk. The water was up over my ankles, and the water was a good 3 to 4 inches deep out along the edge of the road, and the cars were flying by and throwing water up over me, and it would go clear up over my head. Um, but something just told me to keep going. Um, don't stop. Just keep going. So I did. I kept going, and uh, it was it was quite interesting. Um, the few times I could have ducked into a store or under a roof, but um, something just told me to just keep going, and I did. And then later on, I read his story where he was swept away in a monsoon when crossing the river, and that just kind of it really touched me. That was one of the ones that really touched me. He was a young soldier, and I guess pretty small, but he got swept. The river swept him away, and I guess it took them quite a while before they found him.
Wow.
But we honored him that day, and I felt like he was right there with me, telling me to just keep going, keep going. You got this.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing how much the stories end up kind of touching you and just I mean, making you like I mean, that's just crazy how that whole thing led you and
Mm-hmm.
the relation to the rain and you I mean, wow.
And something else that some of the family members have told me from doing the walks. Something else I do while I'm walking is I keep track of the honks. When I first started, I told the community here um, that to help me honor this hero, if you honk your horn when you see me out there walking for a hero, that's helping me honor him.
Mm.
And that the more you honk, every honk counts. And so I started keeping track. I didn't start keeping track of the honks till a little over a year ago. Um, some of the family members started asking, well, how many honks did you get? So I started keeping track. And um, there was a few of the family members that have told me that the number of honks that I had that day meant something to them. Um, to their son, that was how many days or something that he had served, or the different numbers. I've had two or three of them tell me that, oh wow, you had that many honks. That means this, and it meant
Oh my
something
gosh.
special to them. So um, it's just been amazing. And some of the walks, there's been other things that happen that maybe not meant something to me, but meant something to the family.
Right. Now
So
you do
I try and
you,
tell about the family. I try and tell about the walk also.
that's great. So you do talk to the families in some cases.
Yes.
Wow, that's
And
great.
I even walk with the family. Sometimes
Oh
they walk
wow.
with me. I've had,
Okay.
in fact, I've had a mother fly from Georgia to Tennessee and drove to Crossville, rented a car and drove to Crossville and walked 5 miles with me to honor her son.
Oh wow.
Uh, so that was touching.
That is very touching. My gosh. Wow, Tim. Well, this is great. I mean, I guess it's helped you heal as well in your own way.
Mhm.
You're battling your own health issues and stuff like that, and here you are honoring people. So it's like it's dual purpose, man. I mean, that's great.
Mhm.
And so it's helping you in so many mentally, physically, and it's
Mhm.
helping others as well. So that's great. Glad to hear it, man. Now, do you ever have to deal with like any kind of animals, dogs, any crazy stuff like that? I mean, 4 years of walking, I've been out there. There's loose dogs and stuff all the time, man.
Yeah, I've run into to a few dogs that um, wanted to tear my leg off. I thought, and
Oh,
luckily I was able to stand my ground, and I just eked my way across the road and got away from them. But a couple of times was a little. I thought sure I was going to get bit, but luckily I haven't so
yeah.
far. And I've run into a few animals here and there, but um, I've seen coyotes and different wildlife, but nothing. I haven't run into a bear yet, but they're here, and I've seen a few, but not while I was out walking. So um, I've been fortunate as far as
Now you're walking
wildlife.
on are these main roads? Are you taking paths, or where do you usually walk? I mean, is it or
Um,
does it vary?
I mainly take roads. It doesn't have to be a major road. I walked almost every road here in the county. Plus, I've traveled to other places and walked. I got a buddy that walks with me quite a bit, and he drives. So um, we've been to Nashville and walked for a couple. Well, we walked for Johnny Cash. He was an Air Force veteran, and we walked there in Nashville a couple of times, and all the surrounding towns I visited and walked a few, some of them more than once, just to honor a hero from their town, and so I enjoyed.
Is it getting to that level where it's like, hi Tim, hey Tim, there's Tim, hey,
Well, the people honk. I get the honks.
you're getting the honks, yeah.
I remember I did a couple of weeks ago. I did a 22-mile walk, and we we reached a honk record. Uh, I had like almost 800 honks that day. It was just
Dang,
amazing.
wow.
It was it was amazing. I beat the record by a bunch. It was different times of days, different time during the day, you'll get more honks than others. But
Well, I love that you're getting the community behind you, and they're stepping up,
oh,
and the community's
hmm
getting involved as well. So, I mean,
even the younger
that's
generation,
great. That's
I,
awesome.
the high school football team come out and walk with me one time, so
Yeah. I mean,
it was
a lot
great.
of some of these younger kids aren't used to war, don't even realize that, there's been wars and stuff like that. So, uh,
Mhm.
letting them know that there was people that fought for their freedom and their rights to love and enjoy what they do here. It's great to bring that to them
Yeah.
because a lot of people do tend to forget. So I mean, it's great.
Hmm.
We got a couple holidays, that makes us remember, but going out of your way doing it every day, that's something else.
Yeah. I think Memorial Day should be every day.
Absolutely. I mean, these people sacrificed, doing something that a lot of people don't want to do.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what is your, I mean, ultimate goal from this whole thing? I mean, would you, and then like, do you use your own money to fund this? Do you take donations? How are you able to get like the dog tags, the pictures and all laminated and stuff? I mean, how's that all
That's
handled?
just it's my donation to to do what I do and to honor them. I do that. I do get donations, but I don't keep them. I help veterans. I help our community with special events. Like they needed help with the Veterans Parade. My donations and stuff like that I get. Um, I'm helping like right now I'm helping a veteran, a local veteran who has cancer, and I get I get people donating items and stuff, and I auction them off to raise money, and then I donate it uh, to help veterans and to help nonprofit organizations who are helping veterans. It's important that to me it's important to support them because they're helping the veterans, and that's what I want to do. And um, so, like say the dog tags and everything, that's my donation.
That's amazing, man. You're be blessed for what you're doing. I mean, you're a very selfless person, and I have a very kind heart, Tim. Like I said, it's touching to me. I love that you're doing it. It's inspiring. I hope that I can help get your word out there. I hope that we can, spread this out there. That you're putting a face into names, and you're keeping these people alive. I mean, it's great. What's your oldest person, and what war has been the oldest war that you've
Mm.
represented? Or
Well, I've done Civil War. I've honored a
sheesh.
few Civil War veterans,
Okay. Dang.
um, and I just did a walk the other day for a lady who served in World War II, um, and she passed away at she was 105 when
Wow.
she passed away. She was from California, and but I just walked with her just a few days ago, and I believe that was the oldest veteran that I've walked for so far is 105.
Wow. It's amazing that to live that long, especially going through the service and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The amount of stress and stuff that get put on you, and man,
Yeah, yeah,
105.
she did her service, years ago, and then when she got out, she did things to help veterans. I can't remember exactly the details, but she helped veterans for over 40 years. Um,
That's
that
great.
she helped veterans, so that was kind of neat. But you can read her story on my website. All the ones that I've walked for since May the 14th. Well, I take that back. July of 2019 is when I got the website and started telling their stories on the website. So I go back as far as July of 2019 on the
Wow.
website with all their stories. So they're all on there.
Dang, that's outstanding. What's the name of the website?
It's www.iwalk4, and that's the number 4, them.com.
Okay. And I'll definitely get that from you at the end. And I'll make sure that I plug that into the details of the show. So if you guys are watching and you want to go check out his website, you'll be able to go see that in the, I'll put that into the section where it gives the description of the show.
Okay.
But Tim, I really appreciate your time and coming on here and sharing your stories. And you're doing an amazing thing for our past fallen heroes. I appreciate you and everything you do.
Well, thank you. And you can also follow my walks on TikTok,
Yep.
um,
Yeah,
on
yeah. Give us all your social media and what all the names are and stuff that way,
yeah,
so people can
and
go
on
follow you.
Facebook. Yeah, all that you can follow my walks also.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll get all that information from you and I'll put it all in the description so that way people can click on it and go right into your social medias.
Alrighty, sounds great.
All right, Tim. Well, if you could just stand by, I'll be right there with you in a second. But once again, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for what you do,
I
and
appreciate you.
thank you for your service too.
Oh, thank you for your service, man. All right. All right, friends and fam, that wraps up another great episode. But before I go, since it's the month of May and this is Mental Health Awareness Month, let's make sure that we're checking on our friends, our buddies, our loved ones. Make sure they're doing okay, and make sure that they know that there's a number out there. It's 988, and you press 1. It's a discreet number to call, so don't be afraid to reach out and call that number, and don't let a mindset define your life. But hope you guys all have a great day, a great week. Until next time.